Think about what that can mean for your communication when you want people to share ideas or ask you questions. It's a game changer. Sometimes you ask a question and you don't get the answer that you are hoping for, or you don't get the information that you expected. That's not because the person you're talking to has nothing to say. It's because there was one word that quietly told them not to say something. Now, this is a point that many native speakers don't know. So I want to show you why the words some and any are not just grammar words. And I'm going to show you how they will change the way that people respond to you and the amount of information that you give. First of all, let's get the basics out of the way. You all know that some is used in positive statements. For example, I have some donuts. And you know that generally any is used in questions. Do you have any donuts? And in negative statements. I don't have any donuts, which is a shame. All right, this is not a grammar lesson. That's all pretty boring. Let's put that to one side and get to a more interesting point, which is the exception that you may or you may not have noticed before. When we make offers and requests, English prefers some. If you ask me, would you like any coffee? Doesn't really sound like you want to give me the coffee. If you ask me, would you like some coffee? Oh, that feels much warmer. It feels like a genuine offer. And that is good hospitality. If you ask me, can you give me any help? Well, it sounds pretty negative. You don't really expect me to help you. You'll be happy if I do, but you don't sound hopeful. If you ask me, can you give me some help? That's much nicer. It's really positive. It sounds like you know that I want to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to respond positively. It's a much better style of communication. And so when you flip that around and you ask people for help, make sure you use, do you need some help? And that shows that you genuinely want to help them. If you are busy and you hope that they will say no, then switch it and use any. Would you like any help? And quickly run away. Now we arrive at the most interesting point. Everything I've just talked about, native speakers understand. They might not be able to explain it to you, but they understand it. But this next point, a lot of people don't know about. And this next point is based on real research. Let's take a look at it. In 2007, a medical study tested the use of anything and something in real doctor-patient conversations. So at the end of a consultation, the doctors were asked to do one of three things. So number one, they could say nothing. Number two, they could ask their patient, is there anything else you would like to talk about today? Or number three, is there something else you would like to talk about today? What do you think the results were? How did the patients respond? Now, how would you respond if I asked you, is there anything you want to talk about? Is there something you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to tell me? Is there something you want to tell me? Do you feel any difference between them? Maybe you think they're just the same and you'll get the same response. Well, that was not the case. The results were fascinating. When doctors didn't ask anything, patients talked about other issues they had about half the time. So even though there was no question at the end of a consultation, they would say, oh, hey, by the way, I want to talk to you about X, Y, Z. Half the time. When the doctors asked, is there anything that you would like to talk about? The patients would talk about something 53% of the time. Now, half the time to 53% of the time is almost no difference at all. In other words, asking anything didn't produce really any extra meaningful questions or comments from patients. It was the same as doing nothing at all. So how did they respond when they used something? Well, you can probably guess already. When the doctors asked, is there something else you would like to talk about? Patients would respond with questions or more issues, more information, more than 90% of the time. 90%. I mean, that is incredible. Anything was no different to asking nothing at all. Is there anything you want to talk about? Something is, it's not 100, but it's over 90% of times people will respond. Think about what that means and think about what that can mean for your communication when you want people to share ideas or ask you questions. It's a game changer. What's the problem with any? Well, that's a very deep question. The research goes into some of the theories why any is negative. But maybe it's just because, we're taught that any comes with negative statements. I don't have any donuts, so I don't have any questions. I don't have anything that I want to add to the conversation. We are automatically primed to give a negative response. I mean, take a look at this conversation between a doctor and a patient. So the doctor starts with, and do you have any other medical problems? The patient responds, no, followed by 7 seconds of silence. The doctor continues, no heart disease? No. The patient coughs and gives a negative response, followed by a second of silence. And then the doctor asks another question, any lung disease as far as you know? And the patient simply says, no. They are primed to give a no, no, no answer each time. Now, maybe it's true. Maybe there are no other medical problems. But, really? Really? I mean, everybody has some kind of medical problem or something that they probably want to bring up with their doctor. Some is going to change the way that you interact. And so following this study, doctors in the US were given advice to change their questioning. Doctor questioning technique is so important to get valuable information from their patients. And, that's true for everybody. Here's the takeaway. Some and any are not just grammar. They are communication tools. Some expect more. Some invite answers. Some will get you more help. So while any closes doors, some will open them for you. Now, sometimes closing doors is a good thing. Any can be a tool. When you are in a rush, you don't have time to help somebody. When you're expecting, hoping, wanting to get a negative answer, then choose any. But I think in most cases, you want to interact with people and you want to get them to ask you questions and to give you information. In that case, some is your communication tool. So the next time that you're asking for feedback, ask, do you have some questions? Do you have some suggestions? Is there something that you would like to change? And also, would you like to leave some comments below for me? I always love reading them. And if you don't mind, you could give me some likes and some subscriptions. Well, you can only give me one, but maybe together I can get some. And you can use some to make your English, your communication more effective.